This podcast is an invitation to feel and experience the souls of famous old Hollywood homes and to have an in-depth journey to the areas where they're located through interviews with longtime residents. Either you're a fan of old Hollywood in Los Angeles, planning to have a vacation, or, an even bigger step, considering a certain area for your future home. This is your opportunity to receive valuable information and insightful advice you won't find anywhere else.
Hello, and welcome to my podcast. Are you in the mood for California? Today we'll feel and experience the Mission Inn Hotel and Riverside, followed by an interview with wonderful Sharon Newby Gilbert, who will share with us what it feels like to live in this historic city.
Well, it's a beautiful city in a perfect location. We are situated in a valley surrounded by snow-capped mountains. We are 1 hour from all of the West Coast beaches. We're 1 hour from 6,000-foot mountains like Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead. We're 1 hour from Los Angeles with all of the activities there. And when we're 1 hour from Palm Springs. We're a very historical city, which you talked about, founded in 1870. We were named Riverside because we're on the banks of the meandering Santa Ana River.
Masha Korpacheva is a California-based realtor and a member of the National Association of Realtors in Los Angeles. She's an advocate for selling and buying homes with soul and practicing mindfulness in real estate. With master's degrees in spiritual psychology and linguistics, Masha brings all of her skills to work with her clients. An intuit and empath, she has touched many lives with her outstanding ability to see beyond the visible and helping to come to better understanding of issues and their resolutions. An adventurous world traveler, from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania to exploring the Galapagos Islands, Masha has a particular passion for the City of Angels. Having landed in this paradise and adopted it as her home, she's been sharing old Hollywood stories since 2007. In the mood for California, feel the soul of old Hollywood.
And now, are you ready to feel the soul of the Mission Inn Hotel? The Mission Inn originated as a 12-room adobe boarding house named the Glenwood Cottage and built in 1876 by the Miller family, formerly from Tomah, Wisconsin. Over the years, it has undergone remarkable transformations. Under the visionary ownership of the eldest son, Frank Augustus Miller, the Mission Inn evolved into a grand destination hotel, a sprawling complex that blends together a variety of architectural styles, including Spanish colonial revival, Moorish, Gothic, and Mediterranean revival. At its core, the Mission Inn is a testament to Miller's love for art, culture, and history. He traveled the world collecting artifacts, architectural fragments, and art pieces, which he incorporated into the inn's design. From the awe-inspiring rotunda with its towering ceilings adorned with stained glass windows to the enchanting courtyards and hidden nooks, every corner of the Mission Inn exudes a sense of grandeur and an appreciation for craftsmanship. Throughout its almost 150-year history, the Mission Inn has welcomed U.S. presidents Theodore Roosevelt, Taft, Hoover, Nixon, Reagan, and Bush Jr. Countless notable guests, including Susan B. Anthony, Amelia Earhart, Albert Einstein, Helen Keller, and John Muir, and renowned entertainers such as Judy Garland, Betty Davis, Clark Gable, Tom Hanks, Barbara Streisand, and James Brolin. The hotel was also used as the setting for Hollywood productions, including 1915's The Vampire, 1938's Idiot's Delight, and 1997's Man in the Iron Mask. The inn has witnessed political discussions, literary inspirations, and social gatherings that have shaped the course of history. One of the extraordinary events unfolded in the enchanting halls of the Mission Inn on May 7th, 1903. There was a gala dinner planned to honor a distinguished guest, President Theodore Roosevelt. Just several years prior, due to the economic boom of the citrus industry, Riverside had become the wealthiest city per person in the United States. Its financial prominence made Riverside an essential stop on Roosevelt's Western political tour that kick-started his re-election campaign for the 1904 presidential election. As the evening approached, the inn hummed with anticipation. The corridors were adorned with fragrant flowers, and the air buzzed with the sound of musicians tuning their instruments. Elegant guests, dressed in their finest attire, mingled, eagerly awaiting the arrival of President Roosevelt. Finally, the moment arrived. A hush fell over the crowd as the president, accompanied by his entourage, entered the majestic rotunda. The atmosphere crackled with reverence and admiration as all eyes turned to the esteemed guest. President Roosevelt, known for his charismatic personality and passion for progressive reform, radiated energy and charm. Throughout the night, sumptuous dishes were served, and glasses clinked in celebratory toasts. The president's presence infused the atmosphere with a sense of significance, inspiring heartfelt discussions about the future of the nation. As the evening drew to a close, President Roosevelt took to the stage. With his characteristic vigor, he delivered a stirring speech, encouraging the guests to embrace the ideals of progress, justice, and unity. The event with President Roosevelt at the Mission Inn symbolized the power of a single moment to shape the course of history. It reminded those in attendance of the profound impact that one person, one gathering, and one enchanting venue could have in bringing people together, inspiring change, and creating lasting memories that would echo through the annals of time. The whispers of conversations, the laughter, and the echoes of footsteps still linger in the hotel's hallowed halls, creating an ambience that is both captivating and timeless. Walking through the corridors of the Mission Inn is like stepping back in time, with each room and detail telling a story of its own. From the tranquil solitude of the St. Francis Chapel to the grandeur of the Spanish Art Gallery, the inn invites visitors to immerse themselves in its rich history and embrace the artistic treasures it holds. The Mission Inn stands as a living testament to the enduring spirit of Riverside. It captures the essence of a bygone era, offering a glimpse into the past while inspiring the present. It serves as a reminder of the power of architectural wonders and the profound impact they can have on a community and its collective memory. And here we are. Welcome to Riverside. I'm so excited to have Sharon Newby Gilbert here with me. Sharon was born and raised in Riverside. She spent some time away in Las Vegas and Orlando, Florida, but returned to Riverside in 1987. She loves the beauty, history, architecture, and fabulous location. Sharon has led a colorful and fascinating life. Growing up in a musical family, Sharon has played the piano by ear and sang since she was a child. Her dad, Ken Newby, would play anything on his fiddle by ear. The family had regular jam sessions throughout their lives. Sharon lived and worked in Las Vegas back in the day for 15 years, singing in most of the strip hotels. This was when Sinatra, the Rat Pack, and Elvis Presley appeared regularly. Sharon had her own business for over 40 years as an interior designer. Her passions are music, design, and travel. Sharon will share with us what it feels like to live in Riverside. Hello, Sharon.
Good morning, Masha.
Good morning. Well, I'm so excited about our conversation today. So, Riverside.
Riverside is my city.
Yes, Riverside is your city for sure. And it became famous for its citrus industry, and like a whole empire was built around it. And there are like 100 city landmarks and 24 nationally registered historic sites. I mean, this is an incredible, very unique city, and it is your city, as you mentioned. So how would you describe it to someone who has never been to Riverside?
Well, it's a beautiful city in a perfect location. We are situated in a valley surrounded by snow-capped mountains. We are 1 hour from all of the West Coast beaches. We're 1 hour from 6,000-foot mountains like Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead. We're 1 hour from Los Angeles with all of the activities there. And when we're 1 hour from Palm Springs, we're a very historical city, which you talked about, founded in 1870. We were named Riverside because we're on the banks of the meandering Santa Ana River. And of course, we're famous for the Mission Inn. We also have the Fox Theater that used to hold many of the first movie screenings, and including Gone with the Wind. We also have March Air Force Base. That was a hub of activity. And we have the Riverside National Cemetery. And we have the mother orange tree. And that was the original navel tree that was imported from Brazil and started the whole California citrus industry. And it was planted in 1873, and it is a landmark still today.
Wow, Mother Orange Tree. How incredible.
How could it live that long?
Yes. Oh my God. That is wonderful. Well, Riverside is obviously not just your city. I mean, you sound like you're in love with your city and you know it so well. It's history.
It is. It's wonderful history.
So, what feelings would you say it exudes? Like all these amazing things surrounding you, and you gave such a beautiful description. What do you feel living in Riverside?
I have great pride for my city. I'm very proud to have been born and raised here. I mean, around every corner is something that exudes a wonderful memory.
Interesting. So, and what was it like growing up in Riverside?
Well, it was kind of like a beaver cleaver home. We were surrounded by thousands of acres of orange groves and farmland. It was a very small community. I think at the most, when I was a teenager, the population may have gotten up to 50,000. But also when I was 12 years old, Disneyland opened in Anaheim, which was just 30 minutes away. So my family had many visitors from all over the U.S. who would vacation and stay with my family. So I was lucky enough to get to go to Disney many times a year. And when I was a young girl, I looked a lot like Annette Funicello, who was one of the original Mouseketeers on the Mickey Mouse Club television show. So when I was at Disney, I would often have people come up and ask me for my autograph.
Oh my God, what a great memory.
Yeah, my childhood was innocent and delightful and wonderful. And my family, all of my family, extended family, lived within 6 blocks of each other. So I saw my grandparents every day. I saw my aunts and uncles and cousins. It was an idyllic childhood.
Wow, that must have been very special. And then, did you stay living in Riverside, or at some point you moved away?
I moved away in 1962 when I was, I think, 19 years old. My father was a builder developer, and one of his properties was the Sahara Hotel in Las Vegas that Del Webb was building.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it would be fun to go to Las Vegas for a year. Well, I loved it and I stayed. So I moved away in 62, but I moved back in 1987
Okay. So, and moved back right to Riverside.
to Riverside because most of my family still lived here.
Wow. And was it different at that time? So, having been away for so many years, did it feel differently to you?
Well, the major difference was that the population had grown from, say, 50,000 to over 200,000. So it no longer had that small town feel. It had become more of a city.
Oh, I see. I see. And you still choose to live in Riverside, so it probably is still a very comfortable city for you.
It is. I preferred it on the smaller scale, but it's a beautiful city with beautiful historical homes, and there's just so much history here.
Right. And also your work as a designer probably takes you to wonderful historic homes that you mentioned so that you can, add your beautiful design to them as well.
Well, that's interesting because I was primarily a commercial designer. So I did many offices and convalescent and rehab hospitals, but then I also did the major, beautiful homes and mansions of the owners of those businesses. So I really had a delightful career.
Beautiful. What would you say is the primary design in Riverside? What do you think people prefer as far as their interior design?
Well, in Riverside, we have so many historical homes and much of the Spanish influence. The homes that I really worked on were more contemporary because they were built in the 70s and 80s and even the 90s. And so many of those were a little more contemporary.
Okay, so it's more contemporary. Well, that makes sense. Contemporary style is prevalent all over California, and it's just like some people prefer to keep like the historic feel of certain homes.
Yes.
That makes total sense. And what about your favorite activities? And would you say living in Riverside is conducive to your lifestyle?
Well, my favorite activities would be attending live music concerts and traveling and eating in fantastic restaurants. Riverside is only 20 miles from the Ontario International Airport, so it's easy to travel anywhere from here. I mean, I love architecture and design, and of course, traveling incorporates all of that.
Yes, totally makes sense. And it is still much smaller than Los Angeles proper, so you still feel more comfortable in Riverside.
Well, it's a short drive.
Yes. And what about your home, the home where you live? What does it mean to you? What would you say is the heart of your home?
Well, the home that I live in, I am in love with. It's very sentimental to me because my father was the big time builder developer, and he built many important buildings in Riverside from 1948 until his death in 2010. And in 1976, he built the first high-rise condominium complex in Riverside, and it is on the Canyon Crest Country Club golf course. And I live in the penthouse, and I have a fabulous view overlooking the country club, a lake with a fountain, and I'm on the number one green. And behind the clubhouse, I can see homes dotting the hills. It reminds me of the Amalfi Coast of Italy, which is one of my very favorite countries. I love where I live. And I was also involved in the design of this building back in 1976. So to be able to move in here, and I moved here in 2012, and I tried to keep as much of the original design in my house because it's sentimental to me, because it was my parents, and plus I did all of the interior design back in the day. So I have almost a mini Las Vegas museum in here. I'm very sentimental with my parents. The trips that we took and the special times, I keep way too much. I know that, but they all have a story, and my life is filled with wonderful stories.
So what is your favorite maybe object at home, and what is your favorite story associated with it?
Oh my goodness, there are so many. I can give tours actually, but I guess the big thing would be I have Elvis Presley's Hollywood Studio grand piano in my living room. And I have treasures collected from many artists like Liberace and Gene Autry, and really unusual art collection. I have a Jimi Hendrix painting that was done by a fellow named Denny Dent, who used to perform in front of concert artists, and he would go up on the stage and into some rock music that was very fast. He splashed and moved paint all around on something, and he'd finish it in like 8 or 10 minutes. And I have a huge piece of art in my living room, and my living room is, of course, very much musical. I have the piano, I have musical art. It really is like a mini Vegas museum.
How interesting. You know, the way you describe your home, and I did ask you what the heart of your home is, but the way you just talked about it, to me, it feels as if the heart of your home is all of those memories.
It is.
The memorabilia that you keep. And in some way, you're like a memory keeper.
I am. And I have incredible memories.
That is so special. And, our life, human life is so short. And then we start living at some period of time, and then, we continue living for a certain amount of years. And then, especially when we come across, some special artists or musicians, and then we want to keep those moments with us. In a way, we see our own reflection, our own youth.
Yes.
Those objects. And it's almost like we know that this is the essence of our life, right? It is kind of like visualized or personified life that is like, okay, these are the landmarks, or like those are the markers of my life. This happened in this year. This happened at a different year. And then the time that you spent living in Las Vegas and the people that you met. So you kind of keep them all in your home, and it's a museum of your own life for you there.
Exactly. And I turned 80 years old in January, and I am still working. I'm quite active, but I'm telling you, as you get older, these memories become even more important, because I will listen to a particular song by a particular artist, and it takes me back when I was sitting there in the hotel at the front center table watching this particular singer, and it makes you feel like you're almost there again. So those memories become really important as you get older.
Yes, I can see that, because I don't think, anything that ever happens to us ever really goes away. It still exists on some plane.
And if you choose to remember most the positive, it makes your life so much better. You just kind of brush aside we all have wonderful and good and bad memories. But if you concentrate on the positive ones, and those are what you remember and they make you feel good, it makes your life happy.
Yes. You know what it reminds me of? Charmian London built a house for herself already, after Jack London passed away. She called it a house with happy walls. And it is still a museum, you can still go to visit it in Sonoma. But the way you describe your home, it's like a home with happy memories.
It is. It is.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Sharon, let me ask you a few blitz questions about Riverside, about some of your favorite places. And you did mention that you love eating out and good restaurants. So do you have a favorite restaurant?
I love Mexican food. I love Italian food. My favorite Mexican restaurant in Riverside is called Don Jose's. And it was recently renamed by a company that I don't know if they are the original owner or they purchased it. It's called Rodrigo's, but Don Jose's was there when I was a teenager. So it's a long history, and I love to eat there. I also love Chilito's Mexican Grill. It's a small family-owned business, and it is always great.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Don Jose is now called Rodrigo's. You said that they renamed it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But the food is still good.
The same menu. It's just wonderful.
Okay. So what about your favorite streets to go for walks, if you do like walking?
Well, my favorite street for walking or riding on is called Victoria Avenue. There are miles of orange groves still in that area, and the street is lined with tall palm trees, giant eucalyptus and magnolia trees, and the center median has miles of rose bushes. It's a gorgeous place to walk. And I don't hike, but those who like to hike here, I would say it would be Mount Rubidoux. It has a well-known hiking trail, and at the top there's a very large cross overlooking the city. It's a beautiful place.
Mount Rubidoux.
Mount Rubidoux.
Okay, wonderful. And the way you were describing your home and the beautiful view over the golf course, can you see the sunset from there?
I can, and it's my favorite time of day. When the sun starts going down, it casts these beautiful shadows from the palm trees and the eucalyptus trees across the golf course. It is gleaming leaves from the sun hitting it on the side. I just love that view and that time of day.
Oh, beautiful.
From my balcony. It's really incredible.
Well, is there another place, maybe a secret place in the city where, tourists or visitors can come and see another beautiful sunset? Well, till you open up your museum.
Well, I should. No, it's a great city because we do have the mountain ranges. So it's very easy to see sunsets when you have the height of the mountains that it's going behind.
So wonderful. And I want to share my favorite place in Riverside is Mission Inn. And it's just so remarkable, I think, just to even go there, because you did mention that to you, when you look out of your window, it feels like it is Amalfi Coast. Mission Inn always feels like being in Europe to me, for sure.
Absolutely. And, we have so many historical churches in the downtown Riverside area. There's just history behind every one of those churches.
Okay. And do you have a favorite one, or like the most beautiful one that you enjoy going to?
Oh, I think it's the Mission Inn.
The Mission Inn.
There's nothing like that. And of course, it's world renowned at Christmas time because I think they have more lights than any other place. They have the lighted up choir singers up in the balconies that sing, and they have the horse and carriage rides, and they have it's indescribable. It is so beautiful. There's so much going on. It's people travel from other countries even to come here at Christmas.
Yes, yes. Mission Inn during Christmas is completely magical. Yes.
It is. It is.
Beautiful. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation about Riverside, the city that is your city and the city that you love, where you grew up and where you came to live now. And now that you have your home where you can keep all of your happy memories.
Thank you. It is. It's a delight.
Thank you, Sharon. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed experiencing the Mission Inn Hotel and Riverside with my special guest, Sharon Newby Gilbert. Please press the like button, follow and share your feedback for the podcast. Your time and support are greatly appreciated. Next time, we are traveling to Culver City. See you there.
In the mood for California, feel the soul of Old Hollywood.